Hi everyone, Mark Rhodes here, author of How to Talk to Absolutely Anyone. In this online seminar we're going to be going through the skill set and mindset that you need to develop to be able to talk to people you don't know, whether that's in a business situation or a social situation. So let's take a look at what we're going to be covering today. It says notebooks ready there because nothing substitutes taking notes in my opinion, even if they're brief notes. We think we're going to remember it all when we understand it in the moment, but there'll be things come up that are really relevant to you in this presentation, and it'd be really great if you could take down some notes of things that really ring true for you, or you think that's really important for me. So if you've not got a notebook and pen to hand, why not just pause the video now briefly, go get your notebook and pen, and then resume watching the video. What's the biggest mistake that most people make in conversations? And to be honest, the biggest mistake that I see people make in conversations when they're looking to build rapport and it just doesn't happen is they get involved in doing something that I call conversation hijacking. And this is where, let's say somebody's gone into the office or met up at the pub or something and said to somebody else, "So how was your weekend?" And the other person goes, "My weekend was brilliant, we went to the zoo." And then the first person says, "Oh, good. Well, I went to football. Let me tell you what happened at football at the weekend." Now, they think they're building rapport because they're both speaking about their weekends. But what's really happened is they've hijacked the conversation about the zoo, because the conversation was started saying, "How was your weekend?" which was an opportunity for that person to talk to their weekend. So when they said they went to the zoo, that was the opportunity to build that conversation deeper about the person's trip to the zoo. What was the biggest animal you saw? What's your favourite animal at the zoo? What zoo did you go to? How many zoos have you been to? Whatever it is, what is it you like about the zoo? So many things that the first person could have continued the conversation after asking them about their weekend, rather than just hearing the statement about what they did and then launching back to their own weekend. Now, of course, what it says to the person that was asked the question, "How was your weekend?" it says that person wasn't very interested in my weekend anyway, because all they did then is rattle on about their weekend. So be careful that sometimes when we are thinking we're building rapport, we can actually be breaking rapport, because whilst we're both talking about the same thing, as in what we did at the weekend in this situation, we've switched it from about their weekend to about our weekend. And it's very tempting to do. It happens all the time in all different sorts of conversations. I know that most people do this most of the time, but if we can notice it and look to bring it down a bit, and even when we catch ourselves doing it, flip it back and say, "Oh, anyway, you don't want to hear about my football, but I want to hear about your zoo. Tell me about the zoo." You can always flip it back if you realise that you've gone off and you've gone too far. And so all that's left for me to say is thank you for joining me on this online seminar. I trust you've got a lot out of it. If you've got any questions, let me know. What would be great if you could put them below in the comments box there. I can respond, and then other people can learn from your questions and the answers as well.